And welcome, everybody, to the Formula One 2024 recap for the Canadian Round 9 Canada Grand Prix at the fantastic Gilles Villeneuve circuit. Just to say, I want to explain quickly the thumbnail there. Alonso gets a Italian driving lesson. Alonso didn't realise that Italian cars are not made with rear view mirrors. I don't know why, because he used to drive a Ferrari, so he should know by now. Italians, what do Italians think of rear view mirrors? Fabio.
I mean, yeah.
It's not needed. Extra weight.
The usual thing, the one that America made up, that we don't need rear view mirrors. Yeah,
that's the one.
Okay.
That's the first rule of Italian motor racing. Driving in general. What's behind you doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to say just hello to a few people quickly. Hello, thank you for holding on here, Bub. That was that. Let me just say it. Tomorrow evening, Bub says good evening. Fabio, Sir Simos, Sir Lucky Sir. Oh, I see. The Sir's in the other
Fabio
way.
Sir, Simos Sir, and Lucky Sir. I
Okay.
think that's.
I got confused.
I think this is how it was meant to be read. But
yes,
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
You're
Hello,
welcome.
world. Says Lucky. I don't know who that is. Whatever.
Who?
Every Grand Prix. That was our pre-chat. Very sorry for being late. That's fine. You're fine. See Lando. Hello, wonderful peoples. Gretchen. Thank you, Gretchen. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
I hope you're doing well. Happy to see you, she says. Good evening, Gretchen from Bub. Very nice. Thank you.
This is what they do.
Cheer. Gretchen, what does that mean? Is that some kind of code? CIA?
Yeah.
You think she's part of the CIA?
Scroll the messages.
Scroll. Oh, Ciao. CIA. She's a CIA operative. Got it.
Yeah.
Hello, Simons. Thank you. Hello, Bub. Lord Redfang. What up? Hello to you, sir. Thanks, sir. I like it. Good one, Bub. Fabio, ciao. She thinks you might be part of the CIO. This is what they do. Hashtag. This is what they do. That's right. We're going to be talking about that soon. Anyway, here we go. Let's get my branding back to where it should be. There it is. Hello, everybody. Let me just go to that as well. So we were at Canada, but before we get to Canada, I've received an email, a letter actually. It was a penned letter through the post from a fan in Germany, in Titten, which is just outside Munich. And she's asked, Laura, her name was, is it Laura? No, Lauren, asks, we all know about Simos, but could you give me some other information on the other people that are on your panel? And I would say, of course, yes. So I'd like to introduce not an expert, Lucky. And he likes running to stay in shape and stay fit. But he does it. He likes to not to stay fit. I said he likes running, not to stay fit. But because he likes to wear lycra. Which is a very brave choice, especially in Glasgow. So that's a bit about Lucky. He's a runner.
Unfortunately, I'm not in Glasgow.
Yes, but that's where you run sometimes, I believe.
I've gone from there.
Well, there, in Lycra, I'm not surprised you're running from there. Okay.
Well, in anything, to be honest.
There we go. Fabio, on the other hand, likes camping. He's married, and his wife has a shiatsu. Okay, there we go.
His wife has a what?
Shiatsu.
Shiatsu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Everybody knows what shiatsu is, don't they?
Has he taken to the doctor about this?
No, I'm not sure. We're not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I would so wear it like that. Exactly, Bob. Exactly. Anyway, that's just for Lauren in Tiffin, outside Munich. So, thank you, Lauren.
Your
Yeah,
mic's
please
going strange.
write to me. Go ahead, Lucky. You're going to say.
Your mic was going a bit strange there.
Sorry, that was from Lauren in Titten, just outside Munich.
Titten, well known
Yes.
place.
Yes, exactly.
Just
Well-known
outside
place.
Are you
Anybody else?
are you actually being serious about that?
Yes, I am being serious about that.
Really?
No,
Okay.
her name isn't
Well-
Lauren. I've hidden the name just for just because I don't want to dox anybody. But there we go. Okay, so that's that. Now onwards, we are going to go with the the weekend.
I think we better thank Lauren for watching before we go any further. Thanks for watching,
Yeah,
Lauren.
I doubt she is. To be fair, to be fair, she probably isn't watching. She'll probably never watch us. But anyway, I'm sure she'll be thrilled to know that your wife has a shiatsu. Okay. The race was Canada. Yeah, well, sorry, we've got another question. Hello, Sandy. Sandy. Nice to see you. Zoom. Thank you very much. Fabio, will you be enjoying any vino this evening?
Oh, just a bit of beer.
Nope, just a bit of beer. There we go. Yep, just in celebration of Munich, presumably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now onwards with the presentation. It was a fascinating weekend. Lots of ups and downs. The practice sessions didn't go as planned. Hardly anybody got any decent running until FP3, when there was a bit, as you notice in FP2, a lot of people were getting held up by Ferraris. We found the real reason. They don't have mirrors. Don't know what Alonso was saying. However, we got to qualifying, and a fantastic lap in qualifying Q3 was put in by George Russell to take pole position, and absolutely thrilling. We really didn't expect it. Verstappen also pulled one out of the bag in Q3 to get second place. Then it was the two McLarens.
Could we quickly mention before you go any further that the George Russell Verstappen times were exactly the same for pole?
Yeah, yes, that's well worth mentioning. I feel George Russell had a 112 dead 000, and he did that first before Verstappen then also did exactly the same time, 112.000, which was a fantastic time, but also amazing. We haven't had one of those since, I don't know, 2016 maybe?
No,
Was it?
It's before that, I think. I think the last time was when Schumacher, Frentzen, and Villeneuve all got the same time, remember?
Oh no, we actually got a dead time. Yeah. That was the last time there was a more than one person getting exactly the same time. You're absolutely correct. And so, yeah, 1997, I think that was.
Yeah, that's that one it was.
Yeah, a long time. It was a fantastic qualifying session as well. Anyway, dead times, but because George Russell scored his first, he was then in pole. Then the McLarens in third and fourth, and then I can't remember who was in fifth. Maybe Leclerc, and then
was Danny Ricciardo.
Fifth was it really Ricciardo? Well, there you go.
Yep.
Anyway, Perez. Where was Perez? Can't remember. Perez.
I think he was in the gravel trap, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, I think he was in the wall before he started from the Wall of Champions. So there you go. Yeah, he was crashed. He crashed. Yeah, it was Ricciardo, in fact. A fantastic start from George Russell, first into the first corner. It was very wet to start with. Everybody out there on intermediate tyres, just tippy-toeing around, really. Ricciardo and...
Except Except every two intermediates except the two Hasses.
Oh, the two Hasses. Yes, of course, the two Hasses. They were
Two
on full
Hasses.
wets. They were on full wets, and they might have been able to. They might have been able to do something with it, but unfortunately, Magnussen had a terrible stop. And really, the track dried out just a bit too quick. If it had been raining a little longer, I think they would have really got some real advantage. But as it is, they still made up some places, but it didn't do them much good in the end. So George Russell into the first corner first, followed by Max Verstappen, followed by Piastri and Lando. Maybe Lando and Piastri. Guess what happened in the first corner, guys?
Nothing.
No, nothing? Because I kind of remember that Perez and
Perez,
the Alpine decided to have a little mixing up. So, yeah, I think that was Ocon, I believe. And Perez coming together. There's a surprise, basically. Perez sticking his nose down the inside of a car and crashing again. 2 races in a row. Fantastic. Anyway, as you said quite correctly, the Hasses on full wets really had the advantage right at the beginning, and the Hasses made up a lot of places. By lap 2, in fact, Magnussen was up to 7th place, so that was fantastic. In fact, on lap 2, they got up to 6th place, overtaking both Hamilton and Alonso. This level of rain was expected to get worse, and indeed it carried on raining for another couple of laps up until the crucial moment, in fact, when the switch came, or the crossover point came. Lap 3 started to dry. The Hasses still had a slight advantage, and in fact Magnussen getting up to 4th place in front of Piastri, before finally on lap 8 having to pit. Unfortunately, they didn't have the tyres quite ready in time, so it was a slow stop, but still made a great stop. Made a great deal of progress, both of them. Then it started drying out, and Norris came alive. Really provided the thrills early on, overtaking first Verstappen in a fantastic move down the outside on the still wet circuit. And then literally forcing Russell out in the last corner, in the last chicane, to take the lead. Russell having to dive for the off-road. Then by the time lap 25 came around, somebody, I'm not going to say who it was, but somebody had a bit of a crash. And that I'll let that hang in the air for a short while when I read you the advert, because we've got another advert here, of course. It's advert time. Yes, I know. So, ladies, don't want to use your daddy's ball shaver? No. Try the Bushwhacker 3.0 from Moundscape. Moundscape. Ergonomically designed handle shaped like a penis for your better satisfaction and closer shaving. The Bushwhacker 3.0 has been designed by our ultra high-tech buffs who know everything there is about mounds. So Moundscape. There we go. That's for the ladies, and of course for the men, Manscaped, as always. Moving on, if we can move on. Anybody want to comment? Anybody tried that product at all? Maybe your wife's yet to.
I know what I'll have to get my girlfriend for Christmas this year.
There you go. There you go.
There is a new model coming out just for the Canada Grand Prix. They announced it.
What's that called?
It's Beaver Walker.
The Beaver Walker 4.0. That's going to be out soon as well. So everybody jump in with jokes in the thing. But in the meantime, go out and buy the Moundscape. Okay. Right, so moving on. Lap 26, safety car comes out. Everybody dives in the pits. Russell almost manages to beat Verstappen out of the pits, even with a faster lap time, but he unfortunately doesn't. Norris stays out. A bit of a mistake. Piastri, he then comes in a couple of laps later and unfortunately doesn't quite, or comes out, pits the next lap and doesn't come out in time. By the time the lap comes in, the new race setup is Verstappen, Russell, Norris, Piastri, Hamilton, Alonso. Lap 30, there's some back markers having a little strength. A fantastic drive and double overtake into the last corner by Alex Albon. More by luck than skill, it seems. You could tell he probably pooped a little bit in those overtakes. But nonetheless, he managed to get by. Then, of course, lap 45 comes, and it's time for the dry tyres. Verstappen and Russell come in together. And again, Verstappen out first. Russell followed him. Verstappen had some cracking stops as well. But then Norris stayed out for another couple of laps and eventually came in when he did on lap 48. Unfortunately, he wasn't quick enough or hadn't made up enough time really to stay ahead of Verstappen. In fact, he had a huge slide coming out of the pits because he had to go onto the wet piece of tarmac. Nonetheless, it was Verstappen, Norris, Russell, Piastri, Hamilton, Alonso. And then Russell really on harder tyres made some great moves and then came alive. His car came alive until he made a little mistake on round 7 and 8 and chicane 7 and 8 and managed to lose his position to Norris, who really took advantage, jumped on it and had a slight wobbly moment himself on the wets. Lap 53 comes and you'll never guess what happened. God, I don't know. Carlos Sainz managed to do a Vettel and lose his car on some wet tracks, just taking the little wider line than he needed to. Unfortunately, collecting up Alex Albon, who up till then had a pretty good race. But that was Alex Albon out of the race and another safety car called. And this really gave up. Oh no, it was Perez, wasn't it? It was Perez that had that first. Did the first Vettel, then Sainz did the second Vettel, catching Albon out again. Lap 55, then everybody into the pits. Verstappen maintained his lead. Norris in second place, Piastri third place. Russell, who didn't pit straight away, came back in on the next lap round, managed to get softer tyres, and then had a very close call with Piastri and dropped back behind Lewis. And this was pretty much how things were going to end, except the both Mercedes came alight, manages to get past Piastri first, and then Tsunoda had a crash, a very lucky escape for Hulkenberg, and then Russell and Hamilton. Russell and Hamilton had a ding dong, so in the end the race finished. Let me just get there. The race finished. Verstappen, Norris, Russell, Hamilton, Piastri, Alonso, Stroll. Good race from Stroll. To follow up his teammate, of course, Alonso in sixth place. Both Aston Martins doing real well. Daniel Ricciardo, finally the Ricciardo makes an appearance in the top 10, and then a fantastic race by Gasly and Ocon. We'll talk about what happened there because it's not very interesting, but we will talk about it. And that is basically the end of the race. That was the top 10, and that meant that 194 points is now the total for Max Verstappen. Charles Leclerc, who dropped out of the race due to some problems at the beginning, mainly 138. Norris 131, Sainz 108, Perez 107, despite not scoring, and Piastri 81, George Russell 69, and Hamilton 55 behind. Lots of inter-team dynamics going on, really, and hopefully we will get to discuss that. But that is the race review. Thank you so much. Sponsored this week by Moundscape. Over to you, Fabio.
Yeah, it was a very exciting weekend. It started with the qualifying. Russell made a fantastic job with the Mercedes, and Hamilton was strong too. So that means, that car, at least in Montreal, was performing really well. McLaren confirmed to be, the second team after Red Bull at this stage of the season. As for the race too was very exciting. Started with the rain. Everybody but the Haas tried to gamble the full wet, and actually Hülkenberg managed to go from 14th to 4th. Then they crap it up. When they managed to change the tires. Apparently they have the tires ready. But anyway, all in all, the race was really intense, really good. Some really good moment. A fantastic overtake by Albon, as you said. Very disappointing race by George Russell. He started, in a way. He finished third. He made quite some mistakes under pressure too. I don't think he was very happy about his result and the way that the race went on. Ricciardo fifth. The McLaren confirmed, the strength, and Verstappen managed to win a race, which it was a little bit. I wouldn't say lucky. Let's say that whatever advantage Norris had with the pace car in Miami, it was made even in Montreal for Verstappen. So he managed to win. Not a super convincing win. The car has some issues, as shown by the fact that Perez didn't even manage to pass Q3. It just went out at the beginning. The interesting part is that there were two drivers which were confirmed. They signed the contract, and that didn't really bring them a lot of luck. The one was Perez, which disappointing qualifying, and then he thought of that crashing in mid race was a very good thing. They told him to bring the car back because they didn't, Red Bull didn't want another safety car, and for that reason, Perez will be penalized in the next race. And the other driver which signed the contract was Tsunoda, which again it didn't really brought him good luck. He also crashed, so. Yeah, not very not a good. Apparently, it's not a very good thing to sign a contract before the race, because apparently you don't have a very satisfying race. But other than that, there was a big problem with Ferrari, both in qualifying and during the race. In qualifying, Leclerc had a problem with the sensor of the rear brake. Which was giving false reading, telling him that the temperature were not right, so the car was locking up. Lot of problems, and other big problems during the race. He tried to do his best. He had a car which was losing like 1.2 seconds per lap compared to all the others, and he was losing something like half a second just on the straight. He managed to do something while the track was wet, but once it dried up, it was just not possible. And we'll talk about. My opinion is that usually when you have a problem like that, it's some kind of sensor in the engine. So, but we can talk about it later if you guys want to.
Let's do that, because the usual remedy, of course, is they come in, they swap the steering wheel, and try again.
No, they actually try to power cycle the car, and
in the
that
end,
and that apparently. So the problem didn't start from the beginning. It started after, I think, 10 laps or stuff like that.
Okay. I thought it was right from the off.
No, it not immediately.
Okay.
Then they tried to power cycle the car during a pit stop. They basically rebooted the car, and it seemed to be that the problem was solved. But then after a few laps, it got bad again. Usually when that thing happens, it's not a mechanical thing, because usually if there's something mechanical which breaks down, it just breaks down. It doesn't magically solves himself, and that's it. Again, from what I've seen, in racing, mostly with motorcycles, but when that thing happens, is usually some kind of sensor which is not working properly, and rebooting it might solve the problem, but if it's not working properly, it will start sending weird signals to the ECU, and everything goes fuck all. So that would be my impression. But
sure, one would ask the question then: why do they let the sensors not switch the car off, or stop the car? Because they don't need them, do they? The car will work without the sensors. So as a noob, to speak, why would you let that happen?
No, I don't think that's the kind of sensor.
Well, no, it's not. I mean, that's not true. I mean, depending on the sensor, you can't run the engines without certain sensors. I mean, if it's I don't know, just making a stupid example, if it's the like the camshaft sensor, or any other thing, the engine cannot run. So
you mean because of the timing sensor or something like that?
Yeah, I'm just just the first one which pops in my mind. But those engines are so sophisticated that even it might be even something even more silly, like an air pressure sensor, or a temperature sensor, or whatever. Everything is managed by the ECU, which has to take into account all the sensors. Not that you can switch something off and the car will do it without. If usually in those cars, if you can run without one sensor, you just don't put the sensor in. If you get what I mean, So.
Yeah. And they do take a lot of sensors off between practice and the race. Quite often they'll have a lot of sensors on the car, things like tire temperature sensors, or height measurement sensors, lasers for the floor, all sorts of sensors they put on the car for testing and for pre-practice one, and they all get taken off during the weekend.
Well, yeah,
not
but
all of them.
But it okay. So it depends what kind of sensor are we talking about.
Exactly.
For example,
but the point I'm making is that there are 200 or 300 sensors on a Formula One car these days, and that's a lot of kilos added. And obviously, they strip it down to the bare minimum for running in the race.
Yeah, I mean, there is some data that you need in free practice, like the height or whatever. And that helps you making the setup, But this is just like passive data. It's not managed by the ECU. It's just collected and that's it. So if an height sensor breaks down in FP3, the car doesn't even realize it. You just don't have the data, and that's it. Yeah. But everything else, everything else which is connected to the engine or the power unit in general, if it's there, it's because you need to for the power unit to work. So
yeah. Apparently,
would it be perhaps prudent to say that it was water incursion that was the problem? One of these sensors, maybe. When there's a lot of water going about.
Ferrari electrics. I like what you're saying. I like what you're saying.
These Italians are like with electrics, don't you?
Yeah, it's terrible. I remember having an Alfa that did that once.
Well, actually, I mean, if you guys want to talk about the electrics, you guys being Brits, I don't think you have a dog in this race, right?
You're absolutely right. I just remember. I do remember one of the crucial sensors that Raikkonen had on his car when he was at Ferrari. Which was like a big pole that used to come out the steering wheel and wake him up every now and again.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You know how Lucas was, known in the days, right?
Lucas.
Yeah.
George
Lucas? No, Lucas, the light. Yeah. It was called the Lord of Darkness because they never worked. You know, so it was like so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Fabio. Let's move it on now for our weekly or bi-weekly, depending on the race, report. The reportage Le Sergent Laurent.
Oh, just shit.
And and over to you,
Oh,
Lucky. How did it go this
yeah.
week for our favourite French-American star?
The moment you've all been waiting for. The man, the myth, the legend. He is Logan Sargent.
Oh,
It was it was it was looking.
Oh, you've gone mute.
Yeah, he probably crashed like Sergent.
Like last time,
So,
as soon as he gets excited, his PC
yeah.
warms up. The room warms up too much. It's in Scotland. Let's face it. Let me just do this. Okay, so Lucky's not there. He's genuinely, I can't hear him.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna. If you could just talk for a moment while I get something sorted out.
Piece of shit.
No, he's there.
No, he's back. He's back.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we can play that. I'm not sure we can play that video because we had a bit of an issue last week playing a video.
Yeah.
Did we? Oh, okay. No problem. Anyway, the man, the myth, the legend. It's time for Le Reportage de Logan Sargent.
Oui.
He nearly had a good weekend. Made it into qualifying 2 for a change. So he didn't get to go for a lie down after quali 1 like he normally does. However, as you hinted at earlier on, when it came to lap 23, it was just too much for Logan. Too much. And he decided to bin it, causing the safety car. So that was it for Logan. Another DNF. What else can we say? It's over for Logan. All bar the shouting, I think. But moving on, a piece of Formula One news that we better mention while we're in the subject of drivers who won't be around next year. Ocon will be departing Alpine as of next year. Apparently, they've had enough of him crashing into his teammates. So he's another one that's not going to be back next year.
Yeah, which is like it's a bit of a shame, but it's not in a way. He is an extremely talented driver, no doubt about it. He thinks about the race while he's driving. He's very aware of what's going on. He's very fast, especially on a single lap. Maybe his racecraft isn't quite up to it, obviously. But nonetheless, that's how it goes in Formula One. You need to be the complete package. You don't just need to be fast. You also need to have good race skills, good tire warming skills, good, tire preserving skills. You need to be good with the engine. What was it that Alan Prost said? Alan Prost used to say, you win the race at the slowest possible pace. That was what he was used to say, because the cars didn't make it all that far. Not so much anymore. But nonetheless, he doesn't have the complete package. He is very fast. But he reminds me of another driver that was like that, Pascal Wehrlein. Do you remember Pascal Wehrlein?
Vaguely, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Briefly, but he came in as one of the fastest possible drivers. He was very, very highly rated at the time he came in, as being an extremely good qualifier, extremely good racer, and he's proved that way. He went to Formula E and has won a championship, which was no surprise to me. But apparently he was just a man management nightmare for teams. So hence he got fired from Formula One, even though he was taking his car, throwing it around the track faster than it should be able to do. So it's not just results that Formula One teams go for. They also go for 2 things. Firstly, they go for, I'll get to that second thing. But first thing they go for is PR. You have to be able to stand in front of a camera and say the right thing at the right time to the right person for the team. Unless you have some other reason you can't, which is the second reason, money, which is, of course, why Perez has signed a 2-year deal. Like we talked about, we actually revealed that first here on this program when we said, oh yes, it's been rumored Perez has been signed again. He in fact got a 2-year deal, and that's probably worth in excess of 60 million to his team. So just to point that out, that was another thing that we all got there with first. But anyway, back to you. Sorry, Lucky.
I can't remember where we were.
Reportage Los
Logan. Yeah, terrible. America called, and they got Logan Sargent. What are they going to offer us next, I wonder?
Yeah, and anyway, is it going to be another Andretti, maybe? I don't know.
Well, there's Marco Andretti, but I think he's now a bit old for Formula One. Yes, did he not win the Indy 500? This is Michael's son, by the way.
Okay, is he? I thought he was nephew, but I'm not certain.
No,
Marco, I don't think he won the Indy 500. I'm sure I would have heard that.
Okay, maybe not.
But he did. He is in IndyCar, that's for sure.
Maybe I think
we're going to get our fact checker on it right now. I can see he's got a mouse in hand, and he's thinking, "What are these guys talking about?"
Who, me? No, I couldn't care. I mean, when you guys talk about Logan Sargent and all that shit, I just doze off. I just don't care. You know.
Okay. If anybody inside chat gonna ask Fabio a question inside chat to keep him busy while we're doing this bit.
Yeah.
Okay, over to you, Lucky.
I think you're absolutely correct. I think he came very close. Like all the Andrettis came very close to winning the Indy 500, but only Mario managed to actually win it at some point. I think there's been a lot of sort of second last or last lap incidents that have befallen them. However, America
when he was driving the Nintendo, yeah.
Well, it wasn't when he was driving McLaren, anyway. Ferrari, what a shame for Ferrari this weekend. I mean, they must be pretty sad about things at Canada this weekend, Fabio, wouldn't you say? I mean, it was just unfortunate. Yeah. It's not Ferrari's fault. It was an unfortunate weekend for them. Yeah.
No. I mean, they had issues and they made a couple of mistakes. The problem is that the issues that they had. So on Saturday there were definitely some mistakes made. I mean, the problem they had with the brake sensor was something that they should have addressed. I think that what happened on Sunday caught everybody by surprise. But, I think it's the name of the game right now. I mean, they were not the only one to suffer some serious problems in Canada. The Verstappen Red Bull had a massive issue with the electric part. It got back in the pits smoking, and it took them, quite some time to actually take off the parts of the car. They had to grind some parts because apparently something fused himself. So I guess it's just the name of the game. So yeah.
Okay.
So before we go, it's been reported that Leclerc, obviously both of the drivers, but Leclerc especially, was he takes his stuff to heart. He's a very emotional and passionate driver. He takes it to heart when things don't go perfectly, which is what's expected at this level. And people were saying, well, it's probably over now for Leclerc. But I guarantee you that man has not given up.
No,
absolutely.
It is numerically possible that he could still win the championship. And until it is impossible, he will not give up. So I don't like the fact that people are trying to write Ferrari off this quickly. I think that if they come, they've got upgrades for Barcelona coming again.
Yeah,
that's hopefully that's going to make a difference. Go ahead.
That is a very interesting point you make. I just read it very recently, like today, or they are trying. They're pushing the timetable to have some new upgrades for Barcelona, and they were. I think they were planning on bringing them. The race after Barcelona, the race after that, because it usually takes 7 to 8 weeks to make a new floor. But they're trying to push it to regain a little bit of downforce in order to light the tires, to put the tires in the right window sooner, because that apparently is something that they're missing right now. They managed to have a very efficient car, so now they're trying. What they're probably going to try to do is to trade a little bit of efficiency for downforce in order to put the tires in a better window and overcome that problem. Yeah, but they're really pushing the timing in getting those parts, and they're hoping to get 3 new floors for Barcelona, so that they can put all of them that they can use for Charles and Carlos. So yeah, they're making an effort. So
Yeah,
Okay.
and it was kind of noticeable how the Ferraris didn't switch their tires on the way they did in FP3. So I don't know why that was exactly, but anyway, they're saying it's quite a major upgrade. So cross fingers for Fabio, everybody, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure he can take a few more races like that last week.
well, I mean, yeah, Imola was quite a disappointment. Well, Imola wasn't the best. Monaco was very good, and this one was quite. Yeah, I mean, good. But thank fuck it was a good race, because I was fuming. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
I mean,
there's a kind of level.
go ahead. Sorry, Lucky.
There's a kind of level that we expect from Ferrari, and when they don't come up to that level, people start to wonder. But they always seem to come back the next week. So let's hope that's going to be the case.
Yeah, indeed.
So the other interesting thing which happened in the weekend, not related to the race, is just they showed up some new rules, or the idea of the new rules they want to put up for 2026. Basically, they're going to have so the cars should be smaller and less wide, of about like 20 centimeters and stuff like that. The engine will be different, meaning that they will have the electric part will have way more power than it has right now, and they're gonna ditch the DRS, but they're gonna have both the front and the rear wing will have some sort of mechanism. They will zero the incline of the wings, and they will also have another function that they will raise the downforce with the wings. I think it's called like X mode and Z mode. X mode would be having no drag, and Z mode would be higher drag. And they will also ditch the DRS. They will have they call it differently. I can't remember the name, but it's basically the same thing that they have in IndyCar. It's called push to pass. They will have a certain amount of seconds that they will have more power from the electric part, so they will have a little bit more oomph just to to ease the overtake, and it kind of goes in the same direction as the one we're seeing today now. They will have like 30% less downforce to have a little bit more mechanical grip, and to have something a little bit more. It would be more difficult to drive without any problem, without doubt, but it should be a little bit more exciting to watch. And that should also help the fact that you should have less effect on the downstream while staying close to the car in front of you. So that's something. Adrian Newey was quite a little bit skeptic about the fact. It seems to be. I mean, his comment was that they were trying to do something for the new teams. He didn't mention it, but it's basically Audi. To put something. To not to help them. But just to change them. And he said another thing which is not related to that, but I found which was really interesting. And he said, yeah, I mean, it seems to be like they're trying to help the new teams jump on board with something new so that everybody starts back again. And he said, I'm not really sure that is something, fair or good, because he said, all the teams, they come and go. There is only one team which stays. And that team is Ferrari. So,
It's Ferrari. There you go.
yeah, I guess, that was...
Maybe.
that was...
I'm crossing my fingers. I am crossing my fingers.
I am grasping at everything that guy says,
Yeah,
So...
absolutely. All signing, in fact. But
yeah,
exactly. But okay, a couple of things about that quickly, which is to say, there's been quite a lot of controversy going down here. Teams aren't happy. They don't like the DRS part of it, the changing wing levels. Maybe that will be thrown out. They don't like the 50-50 energy recovery system, which you're quite right, has been agreed for the new manufacturers, especially Audi. And of course, Audi have a huge advantage here because they have an amazing energy recovery system on their wet cars, on their endurance cars, World Series endurance cars. And they have a big advantage right now over the rest of the engine manufacturers because of this system. So, but as true to F1 form, there's been some rumors that they are going to ban that particular version of energy recovery and enemy deployment that Audi have. There's already schemes to stop Audi becoming a major force straight
Well,
away.
the other thing is that it might bite them in the ass, because while it is true that Audi is running in the World Endurance Championship with Porsche, there is Peugeot, Toyota, but there is also another team which is currently running in F1, which is running the WEC, which is Ferrari. So. Yeah, I don't know. I really hope that it's gonna bite them in the ass. If that's what they're thinking about doing, what?
Would you believe there was one other team that blocked the changes and want to keep the engine regulations the same? So maybe that was Ferrari. We don't know. The point being, though, is that in the WEC series, the Audi recovery system and energy deployment system, electric deployment system, is the superior package. So again, the F1 teams are going all out to try and block that one being available for Audi straight off the bat. And there you go. This is Formula One for you. Yeah, please come and join us. We'll change the rules for you. Oh, you've got an advantage? Oh, okay. Well, we won't let that come through, but you're very welcome to spend the billions that you've already spent on it. Anyway, there you go. I'm a little shocked, and I wish that things were different. Lucky, how did you find the new things? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, there was one question I'm just going to go back to the race on, but you've got to remember that these guys in the World Sports Cars have been using this technology for maybe 10, 12 years already. So Audi, you've got a huge advantage over the F1 guys. But my opinion of this is, why are they making a budget capped formula cars more complicated? It just doesn't seem to make any sense to me.
Well, I don't think they're more complicated because they are stopping the MGUK. I think it is. Is that right? So we're only going to get the heat exchanger and not the. Oh no, they're dropping the heat exchanger, which is the MGUH. Yeah. And they're having the kinetic exchanger only, which is the MGUK. So all of the power is going to have to be generated or recharged by kinetic energy, which means the brakes are probably going to get smaller and more complicated still. I mean, I don't know why, if they've got this thing, they don't just knock it on the head completely, of course. But of course, I think one of the problems that's going on, Lucky, is they keep changing their mind. Like they have to plan these things for the engine manufacturers years ahead. They only plan the rule changes 2 months before the start of a season.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And of course, if they announce it all too soon, then the rich teams get straight on it and work out how to solve everything like Adrian Newey does. So they're in a rock and a hard place to some degrees. I'd be interested to hear what Bub thinks about that. That's for sure. But anyway, go ahead, Lucky. Sorry.
I just don't see the point in making a car. I mean, we see the position Williams is in at the moment through repair bills from both their drivers, not just Logan, but both the drivers. And you're now making cars that are going to be even more expensive to repair. Does it make sense? I mean, it might make it.
Well, they have a budget cap anyway, so.
And one would think like 130 million, 135 million plus, interest, is perfectly, is enough to build a Formula One car.
No way. No.
I know it's not. But it's only a race car, Fabio.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
How difficult can it be to put?
No. Yeah. I mean, fuck
something?
it. Yeah. No, you're right. I mean. Well, I mean, don't get me started on how much expensive that shit is.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you one thing. Maybe I already said, and it's about motorcycles. When I was, I think it was 2000.
Put him backstage. Go ahead.
I think it was 2000 and oh shit, maybe 3 or 4. I can't. Maybe 2003. And in Superbike, we had Ruben Chaus as a driver. One of the drivers was Ruben Chaus, and he crashed so many times, So at the beginning of the season, we built X amount of fairings, for the you build it in advance because you say, oh, they're gonna crash X amount. At the end of the season, he crashed so many times that we had to take the fairings for that belonged to Troy Bayliss, strip all the stickers and thing, and put the stickers of Ruben Chaus because he literally had no more fairings. Right? Yep. So yeah, it's super expensive. It is that game is super expensive, like really really expensive.
All motorsport is super expensive.
These wings, like the front wings and stuff, they're probably near $100,000 a pop. And if any part of it breaks, it's pretty much you throw it away.
Yeah.
So and that's $100K, even if you just clip somebody's wheel or clip the thing. It's a nightmare.
I mean, just think about the ECU on the car. I think that each one of them, each one of them is easily like 10 grand, and they have at least 5 or 6 of them in the car. So just the ECU, which is
steering wheel, 20 grand.
Oh, the steering, yeah.
More,
bang,
more than 20 grand.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Anyway, so there's that. What do we think? Also, just to point out quickly while we're on the rules, the cars are going to be much lighter, probably 10 kilos lighter or 20 kilos lighter, something like that. So not really much. They're much shorter. They're probably 20 centimeters shorter.
Yes.
And they're much narrower, maybe 10 centimeters narrower.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's I would say huge, but I think I'd be taking the piss too much. So
does that make them...
that is a difference. That is a difference.
Does that make them monocle size?
The weight is a tricky one because I think it's like 30 kilos less or 40, stuff like that. Not too much, but the problem is that new power unit configuration is so much heavier because of the bigger battery, and that's weighed a lot.
Yeah.
So that is a tricky one.
And of course, they're dealing with, like the teams will try to save as much weight as possible to get to that new level. The drivers are all weighed at the same weight, so it doesn't matter how heavy a driver is.
Yeah.
However, the teams will try and cut corners, and that includes the safety structures. Right? They will try and make it slightly lighter in any way, and they will nudge that box of what they're allowed to do to get weight off the car. So if they keep reducing the weight of the car, in some sense they're going to claim, well, we had to just make these if there's a problem, if there's a big crash, something fails, then the teams are just going to say, well, you know what I mean? You didn't give us the weight to be able to do these things. Go ahead.
I don't think it's going to be a huge problem in safety. There might be something in reliability, because on safety, well, yeah, you can make it lighter as you want, but if the standards are those, I mean, if you can survive one impact at X amount of force, whatever, I mean, you're pretty much fucked. What might happen, is reliability might be an issue, because they will make probably, all the parts are going to be lighter. Suspension might, so they might break down.
Well, that's my point. Yeah, that makes suspension lighter. Remember how a few years ago, if you touched one of the wheels from the wrong angle, the thing would just fall off. And then they started making them, realizing that drivers were getting a bit argy-bargy. So they made them a bit stronger. Mercedes especially made them a bit stronger. Put a bit of extra weight there because they could save it elsewhere. And that really worked, because they would get into a tussle with another car. The other car would just fall apart, and the Mercedes would carry on driving. So that's at jeopardy here. That's at jeopardy.
Yeah, but
that will change the spectacle of the race.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, I think that the weight is going to be an issue. I don't know if all of them will fall into the minimum weight. I mean, just to give you just to give you another rough idea, the tires will be smaller, slightly smaller.
Yeah.
And the Pirelli said that they're trying to make, actually, those are one of the manufacturers that they need to have the rules well in advance, because they got to build the prototype and test them. It's not like they can take the the current tires and just shape a little bit of them. They're gonna build a completely new tires, and they said that they're probably going to save 5 kilograms per set. Like, on all the 4 wheels, the advantage will be 5 kilograms. And that should tell you how difficult it is to save weight on these kind of cars, the way they're built.
Yeah, indeed. But there will be teams making sure that they try to get to the weight, and I'm a little worried about it. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. Lucky, anything you want to add there?
To the cars, no, I think we've talked.
Okay. What do you think of the look of it? Do you like the look of these 2026 cars? Okay. They're trying to do something called in-wash. They're trying to encourage in-wash to, again, allow more overtaking. So they're trying to get rid of outwash. Guaranteed you that won't work, though. But anyway, there we are. Okay, that's that.
One last question about the race. Can we?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yes, you said you had one thing, yeah.
Quickly go back. What do you guys think? George Russell, he had that win, but threw it away. What do you think?
Yeah, that he fucked up, like, royally. Both him and the team. They had a really bad race.
Yeah, I think, again, they suffered from the same problem that Ferrari was suffering from, which is tyre warm-up. I think their cars are designed to make tyres last in the dry a little more than both either Verstappen or especially the McLarens. They came alive at one point in the race, and and it was quite late on into a stint as well. So I think they managed to eventually get their tyres into the window. But no, I would agree that he's going to be disappointed. I don't think it's as cut and dry as just them having a bad race. I think that their car didn't allow them to have a good race, whereas other teams were able to keep on top of keeping their tyres alive.
Well,
so yeah, go ahead.
To play devil's advocate, remember the fastest lap of the race was actually done by Hamilton.
Mm-hmm. When?
And it was towards the end of the race.
Exactly.
So I don't know, but I get the impression that George Russell's not a racing driver. He may be a guy that can put a car around a track quickly, but when you mix him in with other people, he just doesn't seem to be able to cope with it. When he went past Hamilton, I thought he was going to do exactly the same thing as he did. Remember when he crashed into Bottas when he was going past him? Was that Imola? He put a wheel in the grass and took himself and Bottas out. I thought that's what was going to happen when he went past Hamilton. But
I do remember that.
fortunately, that didn't happen. But he seemed to find his own line through the final chicane onto the start-finish straight, which basically missed out that chicane. How many times did he do that? 3 times? It was at least twice. So I don't know.
Fabio, I'm just doing something else. Could you answer?
No, I don't remember that. I don't. I think George Russell is a good driver. Is suffering a little bit of the Norris, whatever had Norris said. He just can't. It seems to be that he can't win a race, but I think that the moment he does, will just click. Is a good driver. I mean, I like the guy a lot. It seems to be he's a really serious guy. Takes things really massively seriously. He just hasn't clicked yet. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Okay, fair enough. But I'm of the opinion. I think that he blew that race. It was his to win.
No, he totally blew that. No, that I agree. I mean, he blew last race. Of course he did. But my opinion, from the outside, it seems to be that he blew the race because he wanted to win, and he wanted to win too much. It's like Norris or Leclerc at the beginning, where they had to win. They feel the pressure of being the number one driver now because Hamilton is leaving, so everything's on his shoulder, and he has this pressure that he has to deliver the result. I don't think he has the I wouldn't say race experience, but he hasn't the race. It's not evil, you know what I mean? It's not like Alonso style. When there is something to grab, he will grab it anyway. He's trying to grab a lot, and he makes stupid mistakes like in Montreal. So
fair enough. Okay, I can go with that.
And I am unable to find what I was looking for. So there we go. Oh, right. Never mind.
I thought it was maybe an ad break we were going to.
No. Not exactly. Oh, hang on. I think I found it. Wait there. Okay, and let's put that full screen. There we go. So, yeah, George Russell. What do we think of George Russell exactly on the channel? This is probably what we think of George Russell.
Yeah.
Can you see that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that when he was signed, he was a complete unknown called Kurt. And he was highly rated, though. And it turned out he was, in fact, a badass. So, there we go. Okay. Okay, I think we're kind of done for the Canadian Grand Prix. Mm-hmm. It wasn't bad. Canada always gives us interesting races. The weather obviously really helped to do that. I mean, next week, of course, is it next week? I
think it's it's 2 week after that. Yeah, in 2 weeks.
So 2 weeks we're at Barcelona.
Can I just mention very, very quickly that was a resurfaced Gilles Villeneuve circuit in Canada, so it was an unknown for all the teams in a lot of ways. So what happened that weekend with the rain is not too surprising, I don't think.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully Barcelona back to dry. Lots of upgrades from the teams. Mercedes have a small upgrade, Ferrari a big one, even McLaren are bringing something, and also Red Bull say they are bringing a lot of upgrades. Apparently they've got a new floor, so that should be very exciting. I'm sure Bub is kicking, can't wait for it, and it will be back to probably Verstappen disappearing into the distance, but let's hope. Okay, so we're going to go to let me just get the little ads ready for it. Here we go. quiz or myth? Myth or quiz? Is it a quiz? Is it a myth? It's both a myth and a quiz. Over to you, Lucky.
It's a myth and a quiz. This week brought to you by Moundscape for all your mound needs.
Moundscape.
Oh, Moundscape. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to start off with some quizzing, I think, today.
Okay. Okay.
We're
I
on
got
to
the other thing ready. Yep. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, it doesn't. We'll come to that. It's only a quick funny at the end.
Whichever way you want to do it. It's all good.
Okay, we're into round 8 of the Formula One Trivia Intercontinental Championship.
Or 9, as the case may be.
Is it 9?
Probably 9, because we're on race 9.
Oh well, it'll be round 9 then.
Oh, hang on a minute. Shall I play this now, Fabio?
Oh yeah. Well, we should have played. Yeah, I just found it.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. Thank you. I'm not sure what that's about, but
We'll casual
Well,
racism.
it's come on. I thought you were getting that. It's from next race.
Barcelona.
Oh, we're at Barcelona. Yes, he is. Yeah, he was from Barcelona.
Emmanuel.
He lives up the road from me, actually. He was ever such a nice guy. When I was a kid, when I was at primary school, I used to see him around the place.
Nice.
Yeah, kind of. Okay. So, here we go for the quiz. Round 9.
Trying again. Okay, right.
Are you
so,
ready? Fingers on buzzers. Starting with 10.
please. Okay.
Here's what you could have won.
The scores. Quick recap on the scores. Fabio has 2. Simos has 2. And late entry Bob Elvis also has 2.
Bob has
It only
2.
took
If
him
you're there,
one-
Bob.
It only took him 1 round to get 2 points, whereas you two guys are into round
Yeah.
9 and you've only managed to get 2 points.
Okay,
So I think
that's how it goes.
well, you're having Bob Elvis on the panel next week. Anyway,
I'm not
my
sure he's
question-
here this week. 'Cause I haven't seen him put
My-
anything
my-
in chat for a while, but anyway, here you go.
well, he was there. No,
Yes, never mind. He might still be. Might still be.
might still be, yeah, might still be there. Okay, so anyway, there is a driver at the moment in Formula One who holds a record.
20 of them. Yeah.
Well, yes, there's 20 of them, but only one of them holds a record that none of the rest of them hold.
Is it Cliff Richard? Is it George Russell has a Cliff Richard record?
It's the Carpenters.
It's the
Actually.
Carpenters. Okay.
Yeah, greatest hits.
Yeah. I'm on top of the world looking.
Looking down.
So what do you want to know? You want to know the guy
What
with
do
the
I want
record?
to know is,
Yeah.
this person holds the record for the most races run before getting a win. Who is this person?
Oh fuck! I knew another guy which has another record in F1 now.
He's held this record for quite a while, actually.
Yeah.
No.
It's like.
Well, yeah.
I'll
I
give
mean,
you I'll give you
it's-
another clue.
No.
it's
I think
no.
we
It's
think about it.
yeah. It's Lando.
No, it's not.
It's not?
Lando. It's not
not
Lando.
Lando.
No, it's.
Albon.
I think it's album.
Well, you've got another
Um,
18 to
Hang on
try.
a minute. It's someone like Hulkenberg, maybe.
No, Hulkenberg has another record which I know
He
of.
hasn't got a win.
That's what I was thinking of. Okay,
No, yeah.
Another clue.
Hulkenberg hasn't got a win.
Okay.
Okay, well, the person who is second in this list of people is
Yeah.
also a current driver.
The person
Okay, so
which is second. What I mean? What the fuck does it mean?
Okay.
Okay.
There are 2 people that
That
first
are-
and second place are
First
both
and second
current
place.
race drivers.
Both
That's
current
what you
race
say.
drivers.
Yeah.
Most
And they haven't
Grand Prix
got a
starts-
win, or they have 1 win.
No, they have
and they-
one. They have one. This is most
Yeah,
starts before they got a win. Top 2 drivers.
Is it Carlos one?
Carlos is second, so you've got the second man. So you need
Fuck.
to actually get the answer now.
Is it someone like?
I might give you half a point for that if you're nice.
Okay. I'm struggling to think of drivers now. That's how tired I am. But
I mean, Charles, it might be another one,
No, it's not Charles.
but yeah.
You're down to about 15 now that you haven't mentioned.
Holy shit.
The most. I don't know. Gasly, maybe.
Well, it's going to have to be somebody very experienced. Remember.
Perez.
Oh, yeah.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh, wow! I thought he won ages ago.
That's South American. Sergio Perez.
There you go.
160 Grand Prix starts before he managed to win. And that was for, was it Racing Point or Force India? One of the two.
So okay,
Wow.
there is a bonus point for you, Lucky.
Oh no!
If you can tell me, because me and Simon, I said the same, and I know the record. Which record does Hülkenberg holds right now?
Hülkenberg. Most teams driven for.
No, actually, it's the opposite. It's most races with the same team.
Oh, right.
There you
Okay.
That's the one I was thinking of. But
Yeah, I know.
I wasn't sure what it was until he said, "No, that's not the wins one." And
Yeah.
then I thought, oh, well, it might be Perez, but then I thought, no, Perez won ages ago, so it can't really. It's probably not him. And I was trying to think of a driver that's recently won.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but
there you go. That was
I mean,
really good.
It's also true that Perez started racing with Farina and Ascari and Nuvolari. So yeah,
So there is that as well. Okay. Yeah. He almost won in Japan, didn't he? That time, I think. Anyway, that was when he was still with.
He's been through a few
I don't
teams.
remember the
now,
name of the team.
Perez, isn't he?
Sauber. They were called Sauber back then. Say again?
He's been through a few teams now.
Yeah.
Sergio.
Not that many, because he brings a lot of money with him. He brings a lot of money with him. That kid.
Yeah.
He's got 12 major sponsors or something that he brings to each team.
He started with Sauber, and then McLaren, was it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. If we were to go through Perez's driving career, we'd probably be here till tomorrow. So let's move on to the myth.
There you go. So
that would be a good way to.
Have you got the answer? And I'm contemplating whether to give you a point.
Yeah, Fabio did well there.
Depends. We'll see by the end of the show.
Yeah.
Okay. Last week, I talked a little about Derek Warwick. We don't need the video yet. The video's coming last. Okay, but in the meantime, we're going to talk about Derek Warwick, who was a British Formula One driver.
Just about.
Who started now. We're not going to have any Derek Warwick head point.
Yes, we are, because he made some bad decisions recently as a steward.
Right. So anyway, he started in the early 80s. He was a Formula 3000 champion in the UK, same year as Nelson Piquet hit the scene in the UK. Drove for various teams, Arrows, Tolman, Lotus, Brabham, amongst others. He was due to teammate Ayrton Senna in 1986 for Lotus. However, as I mentioned last week, or 2 weeks ago, this didn't actually happen, despite the fact that Warwick had been promised the drive as equal number one at Lotus with Ayrton Senna. However, Ayrton Senna decided that Lotus couldn't afford to run a two first driver team and put the block on it. So Derek Warwick didn't get to drive. Now, Ayrton Senna was quite right. He was looking out for himself. He was on the way up. Why shouldn't he look after number one? Derek Warwick would have done the same thing, given the same position, and so would loads of drivers. To give you an example, Nelson Piquet, he flew to France while Frank Williams was still in hospital after his road crash that left him paralyzed, to make sure that Frank named him as number one driver for Williams that next year. So if you think Senna's doing something a bit nasty. Well, that's Formula One for you. It's cutthroat. So anyway, I also mentioned last week that Derek Warwick had a brother, a younger brother called Paul, which is an extremely cool name. Paul Warwick was much better than Derek. In fact, Paul Warwick was Nigel Mansell's prodigy and was driving for Nigel Mansell's Formula 3000 Magic team. Mansell thought he was the next world champion from Britain. So, anyway, the 1991 Formula 3000 Championship, round 5, I believe it was, at Oulton Park, his Magic had a suspension failure, which pitched him into the barriers at the outside of Knickerbook Corner, doing about 140 miles an hour. And as a result, Paul Warwick was killed. Now, after that happened, Derek Warwick went to the RAC MSA, who were the governing motorsport body in the UK, and got together with them to increase circuit safety on all the circuits in Great Britain. There's a guy whose name I can't remember, and Warwick, who went to all the circuits, made recommendations, went back to the RAC MSA and said, look, these circuits need these improvements done on them. And there's no doubt about it, the pair of them and their work saved people's lives on the British racing circuits. British racing circuits were pretty antiquated in those days. Some of the safety features were just non-existent. 4 tires and a guy standing behind them with a fire extinguisher was a marshal's post, basically. So he improved safety an awful lot in the British circuits, and was then given the job by the FIA. I'm not sure it was the FIA or it was by Bernie Eccleston of doing the same thing with the Formula One circuits, which he did, and was employed in that for a short time. So that was his contribution to motor racing in the UK and worldwide. However, we'll move on to one last story about Derek Warwick, and that involves Michael Schumacher. In 1991, Derek Warwick was driving for Jaguar in World Sports Cars. Michael Schumacher was driving for, I can't remember if it was Mercedes or Sauber, because they're both the same thing, really. However, the 1991 Nürburgring race, Warwick and Schumacher had been trading pole position times. Warwick went fastest, Schumacher went fastest. Warwick went faster, Schumacher went faster. And during one of Schumacher's qualifying laps, he passed Warwick and then started complaining that Warwick had got in his way. And the next time he encountered Warwick on the track, he drove into him deliberately, took off one of the front wheels off the...
What, Schumacher?
Yeah.
Drive into somebody?
Yeah. You wouldn't think it, would you?
It's not the kind of thing believe it.
You would do.
He's a legend.
He is indeed. So anyway,
it's just because British drivers can't drive. So it always happens with British drivers,
or Canadian.
So anyway,
or American indeed. Oh no, where did Pablo Montoya come from?
Oh, Pablo Montoya. Pablo Montoya is off the chart.
Yeah.
You don't want to name Pablo Montoya in this particular instance because that's gonna end really bad.
So anyway, Warwick drove his 3-wheel Jaguar back to the pits, and immediately before the car had even stopped moving, he was out. And looking for Schumacher. Now, remember, this was 2 weeks after he buried his brother. It was the same year just after this event. So Warwick wasn't in the best of emotional states at that time. However, he jumped out of the car while it was still moving and went looking for Schumacher, who he found and chased in and out of 2 or 3 pit garages before cornering him in one of the offices for the Nürburgring circuit. He had him over a table and was ready to beat the shit out of him when Jochen Mass, the ex-Formula One driver, intervened on Michael Schumacher's behalf and pulled Derek Warwick off of Michael Schumacher. Now, the story continues in that the ACU, who are the governing body of motorsport in Germany, went to Michael Schumacher and told him, if you want to race in this race tomorrow, you're going to go to Derek Warwick and you're going to apologize for what you did. And Schumacher did exactly that, although the way he apologized, according to Derek Warwick, was not the most heartfelt apology that he'd ever heard. So Schumacher was allowed to race, but only after apologizing to Derek Warwick for driving.
If you're talking now, then your internet's gone again. Oh dear. Yeah, so I was worried, Fabio, a few times during that we were going to get a clip of someone dying on track. You know, I don't know why.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. It's happened before. But I've checked this clip that we're going to watch in a minute when he comes back and realizes that everybody else is talking. I've checked the clip and we're okay. We're safe. I think nobody dies in this one. So
did Coulthard ever apologize to Michael Schumacher because you almost killed him in Spa?
He did, yeah. I mean,
he did, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He left his helmet on while he did it, though. Apparently. Yeah. But like I said, the funniest incident about drivers going at each other, especially in the pit, was it was Ralf Schumacher who was driving for Williams at the beginning of his career, and Ralf Schumacher. Hello, mate. I can hear you. Ralf Schumacher had a coming together with someone. I think it might have been Coulthard, but I can't remember exactly who it was. And on live TV, German Grand Prix, on live TV, this guy storms down to Schumacher's pit, the Williams pit, storms in and tries to go for Ralf Schumacher. And in fact, somebody knocked Ralf Schumacher off. So Ralf Schumacher goes down to this guy's pit, and the first thing you hear, Ralf Schumacher's voice on live TV to billions of people around the world is, "You bloody shit!" And that's the very first words that anybody ever heard from Ralf Schumacher on live TV. Him swearing. Hey, hello, welcome, Dust. It's good to see you, bud. Good to see you. Thank you so much. We're just finishing up now. There we go.
So anyway,
where were you?
I have no idea where I was.
Yeah, I've just set up this video for you, so just save the video and then we'll go.
Sure. Derek Warwick, after Formula One, as I said, did some sports cars. He was a world sports car champion with Jaguar. He was a Le Mans winner with Peugeot. So maybe his Formula One career wasn't great, but he did have success in other places.
He did. He drove for Alpha as well, I believe, didn't he?
Well, just hold on.
Okay, beg your pardon. I'm jumping the gun.
That's okay. Yes.
Come on, guys. Time.
I'll get your input. Come on. I'm ready. So after Formula One, as I said, World Sports Car Le Mans champion. He also drove, as you said, for Alfa Romeo in the British Touring Car Championship. Unfortunately, the car that Alfa had that year wasn't very competitive. The previous year they had really good results and won the championship with Gabriele Tarquini. Would that be right?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was.
I'm not sure. However, Derek Warwick drove for Alfa Romeo, and in the very first round, we'll have a look at the video here and get some commentary from Murray Walker on Derek Warwick's adventures in the BTCC.
Okay, I love Murray Walker. Here we go.
Into the Crane of Cows, Derek Warwick 12th ahead of Brabham and Kay. We're with Warwick. It's not a happy transition for him from Formula One into the British Touring Car Championship on Alfa Romeo. Warwick leads these two out of the old hairpin. We're with him now, climbing up towards McLean's, doing about 125 miles an hour, down into the right-hander, and he's lost it! Into the travel trap, into the tire wall, he's broken our camera lens. That'll be $6,000, please, Derek. But I don't suppose Derek's too worried about that. He's out of the race, and it's an embarrassing end to his first British Touring Car Championship race. Over the tyres. Now they've got to get the car checked for race 2. And Derek's got to get back to the paddock. Now here's a replay. Out of Craner at 105. Into top gear, 125 miles an hour. Down through the gears to about 110. And off, slam bang into the tyres. That's it. Thank you. Goodbye.
Oh, dear. I love Murray Walker. I love Murray Walker. He was fantastic. And did you notice there that was Derek at the limits of his expertise, braking, slamming on the brakes, and finding the front wheels locked.
Yeah, that was wow. Okay.
And of course,
So
go ahead.
Was it Tarquini the year before that won?
I think it was Tarquini. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
That was the controversial Alpha that had the spoiler parts in the boot. If you remember.
That's right.
That car was a beast.
Yeah, it was indeed. Absolutely.
That car was fantastic. And just two quick things because we are very long about that. The first thing, if you guys want to see, so that car was made for the Deutsche Tourenwagen Meisterschaft, the DTM. And if you want to see something interesting, you should look for the race in 1994 where Nannini took revenge on Asch.
That was at Nürburgring.
No, it was in Singen, I think. So I will not. I mean, look for the clip. It's insane. It's fantastic. You'd never see anything like that. The guy, gets stuck, with the other guy. He goes out. He tries to reach for the guy, and then jumps back in the car. Goes back in the pit. Have the car fixed a little bit. Goes back in the race. Looks for the guy, and he crashed deliberately into the guy. It's insane. It's totally mental.
And then the car went after that as well.
1994 Nannini Revenge. Just look for that. It's great. Another thing about DTM, I used to work with a guy which was making all the electronics. He worked for Magneti Marelli at the time when Alfa was in DTM. And he told me that the level of sophistication of those cars was way ahead of F1. It was mental, the things they had. They had the weight that they put in the car, to keep them in the weight limit. They were moving in the car. They had systems so that they were moving in the corners, right? To help make the car make the corner. They were crazy, totally crazy. So yeah.
That's
anyway.
The reason they've now abandoned that and gone for GT3.
There was a lot of politics about that. They basically killed it because Alpha came and trashed all of them, specifically Mercedes and Opel, but Mercedes mostly. So they found a way, to fuck with them, and it was super bad. Eccleston, of course, was involved into that shit because it was his times, but it was a really bad page of motorsport.
There was
politics.
Quite a few of the ex-F1 drivers competed in the DTM.
It was crazy. I mean, if you look at those races, see how the fuck they were going at it. But again, 1994, Nannini Revenge. You'll thank me later.
Sure.
Another thing,
Sure.
it's over for me. The Mille Miglia is back.
Yay!
Yeah, they should be coming around my house, literally my house, on the 13th, so in 2 days, and they're starting. Actually, they're starting from where I live, so it's gonna be starting at 6:15 in the morning, but I should be there, to catch photographs, and hopefully for next race. I will have a slideshow. I will take myself on the picture, and I will just slideshow on those cars.
Fantastic.
By. Yeah,
fantastic. We'll have to talk about this and agree it, but maybe we'll do a separate show just for the Mille Miglia again.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
I really enjoyed that last time. That was really good fun to go through.
Fair enough.
That's Nannini's Revenge. Hang on a second. Nannini's Revenge. Nannini versus Asch. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'll put that in the description below the channel, so you don't have to go too far, people, just to have a watch of that. And that'll be in the description.
The Alfa Romeo goes on fire at the end of that. It's brilliant.
Nobody dies, though, okay? Sorry.
Nobody dies. Nobody dies. It's a miracle, but nobody dies. Yeah.
Okay, that'll be
an angry driver. A very angry driver.
Okay, thank you so much, gentlemen. That was wonderful. Thank you, Lucky. Wonderful. We'll see everybody in 2 weeks' time, or maybe a week's time if we do the Mille Miglia. And thank you everybody for tuning in.
I did say that I was going to consider.
Go ahead.
I did say before the end of the show I was going to consider giving Fabio a point. I think we should maybe.
Oh yeah, he gets a point.
After that, we'll give him the point. We'll give him the point.
He gets a point for that. That's fair.
Yeah, I think he gets a point.
Jolly good. Because also, yeah, but no,